welcome back to the Battery Podcast. I'm Aidan,
Jack.
And I'm Casey.
and we are unfortunately here to summarize, to break down a really disappointing weekend for Boston and Charlotte on the men's and women's side. Um, Maybe the biggest news was not a final scoreline. Do you guys want to start there, talking about the injury?
Yeah,
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, so fourth quarter of the Guard versus the Palms. Boston's down by, oh no, I think they were tied. But looking to score in a really back and forth entertaining game. Charlotte North goes down with a non-contact injury while trying to make a cut, get open. Um, it looks pretty similar to some injuries we've seen athletes in other sports get. Not going to speculate on what it is, but it certainly looks serious that she could not walk off the field over her own power, under her own power.
Yeah, and yeah,
yeah,
I guess if we don't want to speculate, we don't have to
yeah,
speculate, but given where the ice pack was,
Yeah,
up on the ankle, it certainly does make me think of an injury that a certain basketball player in the city had last
right.
year.
indeed.
Um,
And if you
so
listen, like if you watch the game and if you listen, because she was mic'd up when it happened, you hear what she says. And just, you can think maybe when you go down, it's one thing. And after the doctor evaluates it, it may not be that thing. But yeah, if you were watching, you heard it. Um, Obviously all of our thoughts and best wishes go out to Charlotte. That's a huge blow.
Yeah, I mean, based on the way that she went down and how kind of scared she seemed to be, I would expect this is the last we'll see of Charlotte North in 2026. Um, I still would be pretty surprised if we saw her in Champ Series, but hopefully we see her back out on the field in 2027.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. um Before that happened though, she we can talk about something a little more positive around the scoring. I think she had 4 goals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
yeah,
um
four goals, 2 assists.
yep. And then someone else also had four
Rachel
goals.
Clark went off.
Yes.
She quieted down in the second half, but she started the game on fire. She
Like
it
in the
the
first 20 seconds.
Yeah, and just throughout the first half, I mean the entire game was really exciting, so back and forth, constant action, constant responses. But yeah, definitely Rachel Clark, I think was the star of at least the first half, and the Guard were looking phenomenal, and she I think w was leading the charge there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And another really positive sign and a player that I think deserves a lot of credit for this game is Maddie Epke in her first game, going
Mm,
23 of 29 on draws. So, that concern I mentioned with Casey about Boston not really winning draws during Champ Series seems like she's taking care of that. Let me look at how the Palms went as a team. I think Mastriani took both of them. Yeah, so Adelsberger was 5 of 26 and Mastriani was 2 of 8. Um, so let's, hopefully Maddie can take as many as possible for Boston. I know it is a little bit
yeah.
different than the men's game where that player who's taking the draw is usually staying on. But that looked up Carrie Neese also went 4 of 5 taking the draws as well. So
Yeah,
that
so
was certainly a plus that Boston can take out of because they did not win the draw battle against New York.
right. Yeah, no, I mean even all the more reason that it's important to win the draw, I think, in the women's game that obviously more draw controls means more possession. And when the person who takes the draw is an actual attacker and
Yeah,
not just running off, it makes it that much easier to settle into your offense.
for sure. Um, yeah, they like in contrast. I mean, I was going to say, in contrast to New York, when New York kind of took over that third quarter, California definitely took over the third quarter of this game, outscoring Boston 5-2. But that was really in response to a Boston run, so it just kind of evened things out. Um, but I mean, the draw control, it makes you a little bit wonder what would have happened if it had been more 50-50. But um, I mean, we've seen obviously the Atlas with Baptiste or the New York Lizards with Greg Gorenly in the year he won MVP, like a good face-off specialist, draw control specialist, does a lot to, can help cover some flaws for a team. And also like, if like you give up a goal or you score a goal, like, all right, there's like a 80% chance we're going to get the ball back after this. You just feel very good about stopping a run from the other team or going on one of your own.
Amen.
Yeah. Let's see. I did want to talk about the negative side. Boston did take a couple penalties. Specifically, Matty Burns had three, I believe, all for illegal defense. Now, I'm still not 100% positive on the rules of the women's game, but basically, if you're standing in between the shooter and the goalie and you're not defending a different player, like you can't just
Mhm.
get in the way for obvious player
Right.
safety reasons. So, and I know at least one of those was when Boston was already a player down. So the 6-on-5 becomes a 6-on-4. And of course, playing man down, you are playing his own defense because you have one fewer player out there. But um, that's something that I'm sure they're going to take a look at as to why that was happening. Hopefully Boston does add some other defenders out there. I know some of their midfielders like Amy Morrow is more like defensive minded. Um, But yeah, that you figure you take those three penalties from her and three penalties combined from the rest of the team. I let me got to pull up um, how efficient California's power play was. Um, Man, some of the stats from like I know they have them all. It's just tough to
Yeah,
like
it's
get them.
where is it here? No,
'Cause I
I
know,
don't
and like,
even see it
yeah,
on the page.
right. They have turnovers. They have the face-off percentages. Um,
But
Yeah, I
they
don't see
don't,
it.
there's nothing about
Yeah, but I see
how many goals were on the power play versus not. I
squirrel
don't
and
even see number of penalties
I went into the
here.
player stats. You could see the number of penalties each player
Yeah,
took.
yeah, you could total it up. I
It looks
mean,
like I think it
it
was
looks like five, no, six.
yeah, six total
Per,
penalties,
Hmm.
and I think two power play goals for California. So not as bad as it could be. Boston got a power play goal of their own. Um, but still, even if you're not scoring or not giving up a goal when you're trailing for some of the game or when you have a chance to go on a bigger run, um, you figure man down, you're not, or player down, you're not scoring probably at the very least, right? Even if you don't give up a goal, so it hampers your ability to try to make a comeback, and of course you never want to be the more penalized team. Um, yeah, New York having four, or not New York, California having four penalties. In contrast, so Boston going 1 for 4 on the man up, the player up, and California 2 for 6. Um, Although one of those was the goal kind of right at the end of the game. So tough uphill battle for the guard now, as they're off, I believe, until July 17th.
yeah, I forget the date, but it's Fairfield weekend.
Yeah,
So
Fairfield.
it's a month and a half. I mean,
Wow.
July
time
17th.
to, a lot of time to think
Yeah.
about it and figure out what you're gonna do without Charlotte.
Yep. And in a
Hmm.
similar kind of vein, so next game is New York versus California in San Diego. Um, so that's kind of weird. California will have three of their games done by the end of June. and then have all of July and all of August with just one game.
And Maryland will only have played one game then at that
Right.
point, and then
So
they'll go on a run.
yeah, so similarly, we
Hmm.
see Chicago is Maryland, New York, and then Boston and Maryland play the following week. So Boston is again getting a team that had just played the week before, which is, as we said,
Mm.
as quick a turnaround as you can get, um, which is kind of odd, um, or just an odd quirk of the schedule, I guess. And then the last regular season week will be Boston, California again during Boston's homecoming. So.
And so no Charlotte North during homecoming now. I mean, I guess we can't say that
No, not for
confirmed because
sure.
there's
Right.
nothing we don't know, but
Yeah. I mean,
I would be shocked if we got to see her at
Yeah.
Harvard, which is definitely puts a bit of a if that's the case, that puts a bit of a
Yeah.
damper on that guard game, I feel like.
yeah, it really does. I mean, at least, I do feel confident she's going to be there because she's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
But
She lives here.
yeah,
she
but
does.
to see her out of uniform, you figure that's definitely some people that are not going to be watching the game. It's probably some people that aren't going to be going to the game. Hopefully not. Hopefully people have already bought their tickets and are like, well, we still want to see and support this other, all the other fantastic players on both
Yeah.
teams.
But
But yeah,
also keep in
Oh
mind
yeah,
too that
absolutely.
they can always have her, you know, and again, who knows? We don't plan this for the league, but although they are great at involving us. But they could always line up something for an autograph session with her.
I'm sure they will. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but
People are
just
gonna
from
people are
but
gonna buy tickets and go just for that.
that's
That is
true.
true. That is
But
true. If they publicize that she's going to be there signing
Yeah.
autographs. Um,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
but
that might be a smart move.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they
perhaps.
can publicize that for sure. Um, so let's just take a quick look at the standings because it is such a short season. Boston
Hmm.
is now in last at 0-2 with a -7 score differential. So, um, we got two teams that are 1-0 in New York and Maryland. They're playing the next game. Actually, no, it's California and New York and San Diego. That's what I just said, right?
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah.
I maybe
No,
would.
Maryland and New York play in
Long Island.
on Long Island, actually.
Oh, that's right.
So June Saturday, June
June
20th,
20th. So in 2 weeks.
6:30 our time,
Yep.
Yeah.
Eastern time.
So it's like I guess Boston needs to whoever,
Boston needs to win out
and
for
then
sure.
Maryland's goal differential is worse. They're only +1 and New York's +5. So I guess they need New York to ideally to win by a bunch, so that moves Maryland's score differential way down. And then I think their best chance is for New York or Maryland to go 4-0 and then hope that somewhere in between Maryland and California or New York and California, like whoever winds up being 2-0 after the game on Long Island, that um, some other team just gets absolutely walloped in the remaining two or three games, whichever it winds up being, and then hopefully Boston
Yeah. You
can
you need
outscore.
to yeah, you need them both to go wind up 2-2 somehow though.
Yeah,
I don't know how all those permutations work.
right.
Like can it even mathematically happen that I mean it must be able to mathematically happen because they're not mathematically eliminated, but I don't know how you go have one team 4-0 and the rest 2-2. But
Um,
just it's too much of a web. I don't
right. Well, I
it's
mean,
gonna hurt my brain to try to figure it out.
yeah, like
But
theoretically, Maryland or California could go 1-3. So right. So if Boston goes 2-2, Maryland or
right,
California is 2-2, and then the other one of those teams is 1-3.
three.
That would be Boston's path, just getting in on score differential.
That's right. Yeah. So all right. Well,
So we'll know who we have to root for
Hmm.
more specifically after the New York Maryland game in Long Island in a couple weeks, because the league is off this coming week, kind of a random bye week in there.
yeah.
Um, shall we switch now to the men's game?
Well, let's do it.
All
The
right.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
A game that was almost sadder than watching Charlotte North do
Hmm.
something really bad to her leg. Um, an almost inversion of the game in Rhode Island. I'll say at least the score differential in this one was better.
That's
Um,
exactly what I was gonna say.
yeah,
Every goal counts, and yeah, it felt like a complete reversal of Rhode Island for most of the game, and you think that it's just going to erase what the Cannons did already, but clawed a few back at the end. So I mean,
Hmm.
ultimately, Cannons beat the Water Dogs by 14 in Rhode Island, and then ended up just losing, only quote unquote losing by 7. So that's still half half as many.
yeah.
On score differential, you still have the benefit there in the long run, but boy, oh man, 17-10 makes the sound way better than it actually was.
Yeah, I like it. It's funny. So I did unfortunately get this spoiled for me. My mom actually texted me, "Ouch, rough night by the Cannons," because
Not your
I was
mom.
I was out and couldn't watch any of the action live. So I watched it all last night after I got home, and then this morning. So at least I went in knowing the Cannons weren't going to win. Then I think when the margin came back, because at one point it was what 15-3, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh no, the Cannons will literally undo. Like this game could wind up being like record setting for Philly. Um, so I felt weirdly more positive about this 17-10 loss than I did against Maryland, because when you go toe to toe with the team basically the first half and then you just let them wallop you versus when you get walloped in the first half and then you wind up managing to close the deficit, it does feel a little bit more positive.
Yeah, no, I mean you go numb to it. Like the Maryland game, you're invested. It was back and forth. You're still very much in this at halftime, and then they go on a run in the third quarter and kind of pull away, and it's frustrating. But very early on in that game, in the second quarter, you're like, oh, all right, well, okay then. And so by the time that the cannons started climbing back, like emotionally, yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. I went numb pretty early on and was just sitting there passively absorbing this lacrosse game. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, hey, like they're kind of putting some points on the board here all of a sudden. Like good for them, I guess. Like I didn't get excited about it. I didn't, the broadcast was trying to hype it up and like certainly the more they got it, it was like, oh, like you get a 2 here and then blah 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 blah
Hmm.
blah. But I was so I didn't get, oh boy, like they're getting back into this or anything like that. But yeah, it is kind of, oh, good, like good for you guys. All right, like I guess I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, I just to throw out some bits of information from the PLL stats page. So, they track win probability throughout the game.
Oh boy.
Uh, you want to guess what it was at halftime?
At halftime, the win probability, I would say the Cannons probably had a 10% chance of winning.
That's pretty much right on. It was about 88% for Philly, so then 12 for Boston at halftime. And then going into it was basically 99% going into the fourth. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking at like they have the win probability for every goal. If you look up the play-by-play for every goal in the fourth quarter, it says 99.99 win percent for Philly. Even when, to your point, when Boston made it 16-10, um, yeah, I agree. I also wasn't thinking that Boston was going to win because it was 6:45 to go in the game. Um, but I was thinking, last year Boston had a couple games where they were up comfortably by six or so goals, and they let the other team close back to make it a one or two goal game, which including against Philly. Um, if Boston had done that to get it from 16-10 to like 16-13, I think we certainly feel a lot better
Mhm.
about that game. Obviously the Boston doesn't score again after getting that goal with 6:45 to go, but um, yeah, they do put themselves in a little bit of a better situation because at least, New York lost as well. And they do have a worse goal differential because Boston was able to cut this back. So technically Boston is still in a playoff position. Their
Yep.
next game is against New York in part of the Atlas homecoming. Um, and that game now looks huge. I know Boston will have another game against them later on, but uh, neither team is going to want to lose and be the last place team in the standings. Um, you want to talk
Go
about
ahead.
the few positives, or should we keep going on the negatives
Um,
for
What are
let's
the
talk about,
positives?
yeah, let's talk
I
about
want
some
I
of
want to
those.
hear I want to hear
Okay,
this because
can we
that's
start?
I'm not nothing's
Well,
immediately coming to mind for me.
let me start. Um, so after the last game, Tucci was scratched, and McMeekin went in this
At
game.
least.
Yeah,
yeah.
yes. I don't mean scratched as in he's still on the roster and he's just not playing.
Yeah.
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 Um, remember a couple episodes ago when I was like, I feel convicted about talking down about Tucci and I was going to try to be nicer? Sorry. So, anyways, McMeekin, now I guess it
It's
doesn't
just a
matter.
fact. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, I know. Um, McMeekin, 18 out of 27 wins at face-off. So that puts him at about 66.7 percent in his pro debut. He definitely held his own against Farrell, who is well seasoned in the pro game. That's a huge positive.
mhm.
It's something that we have been saying for a long time that we want and need um, at the face-off position.
Yes, that is where I was going to go as well, with McMeekin winning two-thirds of his faceoffs against Farrell. And I'm trying to see if he had how many, oh, he had one turnover in this game. Farrell did. So strong debut for McMeekin. I think, obviously we wish that had turned into some more points, although I know he did have an assist to Maxi, which was pretty cool. So he got like his first career point, as it were.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean,
McMeekin
I
also
think
had a penalty.
did he? What was it for?
Or oh no, sorry. No,
Yeah,
wrong column. Wrong column.
that's all right. So going into New York, I think for him to go two-thirds against Baptiste is definitely not realistic. But if he can go 50-50 or honestly even like 40%, that'll feel like a huge improvement. He can definitely
Hmm.
push the ball as well and pass. And
Yeah.
I think he had a shot. He had two shots. Although I think at least one of those is just a possession, like shoot it out of bounds kind of on purpose.
Yeah.
But he's definitely shown at least in this regard, it looks like Coach Holman has made the right decision, and I think we can hope for hopefully a pretty good season out of him, and just giving the Cannons a better chance to get the ball back after a score.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything else on McMeekin? Another debut that touch on Will Donovan also
Yep.
um, popping into the lineup, and I mean defense wasn't great, so I'm not like, oh yeah, Will Donovan looked really good, but he did have a caused turnover, so like I do want to, I guess, just give props to him that he contributed,
Yeah.
I guess, in a positive manner. So hopefully that, yeah, I don't know. That's all I
Govna
got.
also got a goal,
Yep. Yeah.
He
Another goal
did.
for trainer.
a nice sniper. They shouted him out on the broadcast. I think they called him
Bill Ricka
uh,
Butcher.
they
The Bill Ricker
yeah, and
Butcher.
I
That's
was
what they
like,
are.
yes,
Guys, like they're
we need
obsessed
to
with
hear
that, and
that
I'm like, I
more.
don't know where that comes from. It's the
Yeah.
governor.
Yeah. I think it's just alliterative that they call him that. Like I
But
don't.
like, why a butcher? Just because it's like blue collar, like meat, like just like
I
I
think it's a
guess.
little
It's just like
intense,
towny vibes.
Yeah.
but I don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it. It just we came up with the governor, so I want them to use that.
Yeah.
True, true, true. Yeah.
Uh,
We need to make some
We
shirts.
we we
yeah.
shirts. We need we need to get the
Signs.
guys like saying it. Like if anyone's asked a question about Jeff, like they need to refer to him as the governor. I think like that if they can name
Yeah.
drop that in a press conference or a sideline interview, that would be huge.
Hmm.
Um, so we can workshop this though.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get on that homecoming. Really push
Hmm.
the governor. Like we need to push that.
Yeah. Um,
Do we have any idea how, and this is putting you guys on the spot a little bit because I definitely don't know the answer. How close is Holman to getting to number one? I know he's number two behind, what is it? John Grant?
Junior for the
Yeah,
Yeah.
record, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. How
Yeah,
many?
that's been something I've meant to be tracking. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm gonna pull up the
I mean, I we can pull up his stats right now, and it looks like Holman. Oh, it
366.
just has the average, not the total. That's annoying.
Yeah, his the
Oh,
page
here it is.
on the career leader for stats has 366. I don't think that includes
It's
yesterday's game though.
Yeah. Well, and Grant Jr.'s at what, like 390, I think,
393.
ish. Yeah. So that's 27
27.
goals.
Oh yeah,
Not,
this I remember he
not
was 27 behind after last game. So they haven't taken this one into account, which means he's 25 behind now because he had 2 goals against.
right.
So 25 more in 8 games plus hopefully at least one playoff game. Um,
Not impossible, but averaging a hat trick is a lot to ask.
yeah, I mean we'll hope, he had the MLL record for goals in a game. We'll hope we get one of those. Um,
Go off, Marcus.
yeah, if
Yeah.
Marcus Holman can put up a 10 spot at some point again this season, that would be fantastic.
That would be wonderful. I
Yeah.
would really enjoy that.
Um, I mean, I guess we do have to go back to talking about the defensive and goaltending issues.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes. That
Uh,
is the story of the game. Well, actually, we're already on the topic of offense, so also Weishar playing attack in the second half.
yeah,
Interesting move. It stuff wasn't working, so I get, hey, let's put Mikey down at attack and let's see what Brian Kelly can do out of the box. I don't hate uh Coach Neo making moves, pulling Cursed out
yeah,
at half. Like you got to do something. Like it, the way it was looking at half. So kudos to him for shaking all that up. I don't think any of it sticks. Uh, Obviously, Cursed is the starter. You keep him going forward, but not that it was bad the change, but I don't see Weishar all of a sudden playing down low and Brian Kelly continuing to run out of the box. I expect in Long Island that we're going to see maybe he does change up the lineup because they've lost the last couple of games, but if there's a change, I think it would be inserting Asher back into the lineup and taking Brian Kelly out, and Weishar would continue to come out of come out of the box.
yeah. I think I agree.
Guys, I miss Asher.
I miss
I miss
2023
our
Asher.
Asher. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think the obviously the one game he played this year and then a lot of last season, it was kind of frustrating to watch him because we
Mhm.
know the type of player he can be, and he just wasn't being that player.
Yeah.
Um, maybe now is the time, or you have another week off for Holman to think about it, for Asher to, I don't know, mentally prepare himself to go um, try to get to that tough spot in the field that he can get to. We figure it's probably going to be Michael Rexroad covering him if he does play.
Mm.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think obviously Rexroad's a strong guy, but I think he's not quite as big, as strong as like Jared Newman. So maybe this is a chance to give him, put him back in that role. Yeah, but I totally agree with you, Jack. I think the if the attack situation changes for New York or going forward, it probably is going to be um,
Just
Nolting
putting
stepping back
that,
in for
yeah,
Kelly, and
going back in.
Maxi and Holman certainly are going to stay there.
Yeah.
Because I
Um,
think Whiteshard definitely is better and more useful out of the midfield.
right.
Yeah.
But all
Um,
right, let's talk about the defense.
yeah.
That
Well,
we
just
that's a story.
super quickly, one more player who also made his debut was Logan Ip,
Yep.
Mm, yep.
who I'll be honest, I like barely noticed out there. Obviously,
No.
not a lot was going well for the Cannons. They didn't have the ball for a lot of the first half, but um, he's at the bottom of the offensive stat sheet. He had 3 shots, none of them hit the cage. Uh,
Yep.
it didn't wait. No, none of them went in, but I
Well, yeah. Three
doesn't get
shots, 12 touches. So like
yeah.
he
I mean
he
it
did he did play, he was involved, but it
all
you
right, two of them
know,
were on
it
cage. All right.
I didn't like notice anything.
Yeah, and in
Uh,
comparison to some of the new players for Philadelphia, which we
Oh,
talked about on the defensive season side of the ball, like
Josh
theoretically the Cannons could
Yago.
have had Kyle Lewis or
Yeah.
Josh Yago instead of Logan Ip. Um,
Okay, but like Josh Yago like might never play another game.
yeah, oh, I totally agree. I'm always going to be skeptical of the Service Academy guys. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't really I'm not sad they didn't take Josh Yago because even if he plays great this year, like this might be the only year he gets.
Well,
Um,
even then, I think that he is reporting to his assignment like this week or next. So like we don't even know if he's playing the rest
yeah.
of the summer,
They said on the broadcast
Yeah.
he'll be
right?
training Monday through Thursday and then he'll
Right.
fly out for games.
Oh, okay.
However,
Okay,
I
I missed
also
that.
gotta think he's gonna miss one at some point in there. Like there's gonna be some training that's required for a weekend or
Hmm.
some, like you're playing
Yeah.
Friday night and you can't get out in time. Um,
Okay.
but yeah. Kyle Lewis though, man, does he look shifty out there.
Whew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so props to him and his, Yago had a kind of a disappointing game against Carolina last weekend, as did pretty much everyone else on Philly. Um, Kyle Lewis, though, pretty immediate impact. I mean, like we saw with Palumbo, like his first touch being a behind the back assist to Ross Scott. Yago's or Lewis's first goal is a behind the back. Um, and I think yeah, I think later in the game he had a pretty ambitious behind the back pass that fortunately, I forget who he passed it to, but that player did not connect. But I mean, yeah, he looked really good out there, as did not the youngest curse, but the youngest curse that's playing professionally, CJ, with
He's just so good.
yeah,
6 goals. And I think what he had 2 or 3 assists as well.
no assists actually.
Wow. I thought he had a
Six
couple assists.
uncredited, but yeah, he was the top performer. Actually, no, Mac O'Keefe was the top performer on attack this weekend, or top point performer this weekend, but CJ Curse was very close behind him. I
Curse
mean, it's
led Philly though
yes, he
Hmm.
certainly did.
by far.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I mean,
Yeah.
I I don't quite know what to say because it's like I don't know if it's that the defense as a whole, like they're trying to do the same thing and it isn't working, or it's like each week they have a different plan. Um, but I think I saw this with the Chaos and the Archers, and in the Archers by far the best game of the year is like they kept switching, uh, like they switched a bunch of picks, so Connor Fields was like dodging the short stick defensive midfielders a lot of the game. Um, and that's just not a recipe for success for the team trying to defend him. And I think Boston was doing a lot of the same thing. It's like players dodging one on one and no backup or um, like
Yeah,
just losing their
someone
guys.
I who kept drawing a shorty. Someone on Philadelphia kept getting switched onto a shorty, and I can't.
I think it was CJ.
Was it CJ? Oh, that's yeah. That I mean that would make sense. It's how he got to 6 goals. But yeah, like why are we letting
Yeah.
a
And
shorty get on CJ Kirst?
yeah, there's so many clips of Boston losing their guys. Like we saw it again with Maryland, where you have to figure Philadelphia saw that tape of Boston just losing cutters when the ball's behind the goal
Yeah,
and just sticking with that. I mean, they're one of those goals. I think it was man up, so obviously, you can't defend everyone man to man, but CJ Curse is just cutting right through the middle of the defense with like literally just no one around him. It looks like it's a drill, like he's that open.
yeah.
Um, and I don't, I'm not a defensive coordinator. I'm not a professional coach, not a coach of at any kind of high level. But I don't know, man. You gotta figure, especially with two of his brothers being the other team, that like if any guy's not gonna beat you, it's gonna be CJ Kirst, just like doing whatever he wants to, cutting through and getting his brother yanked. Had to be a tough kind of conversation for Michelle, their mom, in
Oof.
the car ride back home. Um, yeah, tough game for Colin.
Yeah. And he looked afterwards, when the broadcast was just showing the three Curse brothers. Colin looked definitely like he needed to go process.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, McMeekin probably the highest point of the game, and I don't know if Colin Kerr specifically was the lowest, but just like the inability to get a stop when you need it. I mean, it was what, like an 11-1 run that Philly went on from the second quarter to the third, or the first quarter to the third. It was like 2-1
Um,
Boston, and then you blink and it was 15-3. And I mean, they're just like having
yeah.
fun, and is what we've seen like when it's the attack doing all the work for Philly, that's when they suffer. And CJ obviously did the lion's share of it, but you had 3 points from Yago, 2 points from Hannah, 2 points from Kyle Lewis, a goal from Connor Kelly, a goal from Brendan Staub, the LSM, um, and then a couple other points from other defenders and other midfielders. So Kirsten Sowers led scoring, but Sowers also had 3 assists. I think a couple of those were to the midfielders. Hannah finally hit the net. Yeah, it's scary. Um, so, like you said, fortunately, New York still looks broken without Jeff Teat. So Boston's in a playoff position, but Boston's got a lot of things to figure out. Um, where it's honestly looking like that 19-5 win over Philly was more of a fluke than any of their other results so far this year.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Do we want to do we want to touch on at all the like very briefly the other games? Um
Yeah, I want Chad Palumbo, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
can we? And then you see
Coach,
the
let's
pic of
figure that out.
him uh with the Red Legion after the game wearing the what why am I blanking? The Grim Reaper
No, I didn't
guy.
see that.
What's his name? What's
The
his
Carolina Reaper.
the Carolina Reaper. Thank you. Chad Palumbo like wore the Reaper mask like he like the whole
Oh,
like Josh and all them like it was a row of them like leaning over the stands and it's just like Palumbo's just posted up with the Reaper mask like what up like this is my crew and
that's amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
like I love Chad Palumbo. The dude is a lax rat.
Yeah.
He's so good for the league. Like just like his story, of
Hmm.
course. Like never mind the fact that obviously like we love him the local connections, but he's like what we need. in professional lacrosse. A phenomenal story
Yep.
of overcoming adversity, a
Hmm.
phenomenal human being, and just like I said, such a lax rat and such a professional lacrosse lax rat. Like, look, obviously the college game rules in lacrosse, but he is so in on the PLL and professional lacrosse. It's just really awesome to have a player who seems to be a star in the making that like yeah, this is it. Like I love professional lacrosse. Like the PLL is and like I feel like his kind of energy and stuff will just help kind of build like the children like growing up dreaming of
Yeah.
playing in the PLL as opposed to just playing on Memorial Day. Um, but all that being said, he's a local guy, so that should be us. I
Yeah.
want him. Oh man,
Yeah.
he's good though. He's good. Like good for him. Good and good for Carolina getting a win. That was a tough loss on Friday. So um
Yeah. I mean, to I guess talk about the specifics, it's crazy now that in 4 weeks of season action, not technically four homecomings, but basically with Boston playing in Rhode Island, 3 of the 4 times the team has lost the first game and won the second. And um, after losing to Utah and the way they lost to Utah, um, I did not. So 15-7, Utah looked like Utah's barely scored 15 goals across their first 3 games of the year combined. Um, that's almost that's almost not an exaggeration. Um, for them to it's like what I said of just switching to give Connor Fields and Mac O'Keefe just like short sticks to dodge all day. Um, Even Trey Leclerc shooting with his offhand on the run. And it's funny, like the slow-mo, it looks so awkward and uncomfortable because he's just not, he's a Canadian guy. He just does not do that really. Just like everything falling for them. Um, and then somehow Carolina manages to turn it around, gut out a win against Denver, who I don't know, maybe Jared Bernhardt being at midfield is the key for them because their first game, obviously, they lost to Utah. Then their second, they don't score at all in the fourth quarter and just kind of hold on for a win against California. Then last week against New York, they do bring him to midfield and explode in that second half when he makes that switch. Then this game he does not play at all due to some kind of a leg injury, and Denver loses. Brennan O'Neill at least looked a little better, but yeah, that's a huge win for Carolina to stay closer atop the Western Conference standings, where it looks pretty open. Um, and then yeah, Palumbo just looks so good in that game. I think he had a hat trick.
yep.
Um,
Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
and as you mentioned, just such a good guy to root for, to be one of the faces of this league. Like he just plays such a fun style. Wherever
yeah.
um,
You can just see how much he enjoys being out on the lacrosse field
yeah,
every second of it. It's just yeah, it's a pleasure to watch him play the game.
yeah. And then the one other game this weekend that we haven't talked about is California holds on against the Atlas, helps Boston out a little bit there, 12-11. So two 12-11 games this weekend. Um, it was 12-9, and then New York got a two-pointer with like 10 seconds to go. So that, kind of a bummer. Made the last couple seconds of that game certainly a little bit more exciting. Um, Helped New York out a little bit in the goal differential department, but I mean, they're missing Brian Costabile due to his paternity leave. So congratulations to him and his wife.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh.
but he has far and away been their best offensive player. Um, so not this is like the I think this is the only game of the weekend I predicted correctly. I was sure Carolina was going to win against Utah with how bad Utah's been. And then after seeing how Carolina played against Utah, I switched to picking Denver. And then obviously I picked Boston was going to win against Philly. So this is the only game that mostly went how I thought it would, except that Matt Rambo made his debut for the Atlas and was like,
So weird.
yeah, it is very weird to see him in blue and to see him in number 11. Um, because I know he was number one in college, at Maryland, and then he's been nine on the whips for so long.
Yeah.
But, it's Baptiste's number. Yeah, and of course he scores the first goal of the game, his only goal of the game, but got a couple assists later. Yeah, very weird. I still think it was not the right move, and Levi Anderson should have played that lefty attack spot. But uh, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if that rejuvenation can help him out and help um, New York out going along, because they also look a little bit lost right now. Um,
Just a quick question. Where where's Miles Jones? Is he just in the
he
player
was,
pool?
Yeah.
yes, he was
Philly
released by
released him.
Philly.
Okay.
They never
He
even,
hasn't gotten
he,
picked up.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So wild
yeah, anyone
that
can
And
he's
get
just
this.
also
not
Kyle
playing.
Jackson, I think, too.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
haven't heard that name.
I know that he's an older player and whatnot, but yeah, I kind of wish that at some point we got to see him in the Cannons uniform. And I
Again.
really, uh, yes, but yeah, at this point, I really don't think that we would.
I
But
Yeah.
mean, well, he's not what we need.
I know
No.
Not that I
it's a
wouldn't take
biased
him, but
statement.
that's not what my concern is with this lacrosse team.
No. No, that it's definitely a
I'm
fan
just
favorite, but
making
it'll
a
be
biased statement. I just
Yeah.
wish
No,
that
hey, I went on a whole soliloquy about Chad Palumbo. Like he's not gonna fix the Cannons' problems,
he'd be
but
helpful. Might give up
damn,
too many
I want
lefties,
him in
but
the Cannons uniform.
yeah.
I'm sure
He's
Colter
my new
Maxey
Will
would too.
Manny.
Whoa, you heard it here.
I
Um,
mean, we got Will though. Like
yeah.
We
that's what
do.
I mean. So
We do still have him.
Will came back. Like so like now Chad Palumbo is like my white whale. Like I need him to suit up for the Cannons at some point in his career. Also, well, Scott Smith too. Like
Yeah.
Scott Smith and Chad Palumbo. I need both of them at just one game. Just give me one game in a Cannons uniform for
Well,
those
Scott
Well,
two
Smith looked pretty good for
players.
Carolina this weekend.
mhm.
So
Yeah, I believe he had his first career goal.
I completely missed that. That good for him.
Um, um,
Did he? Chaos? How, how about that? Yeah, he had a goal and an assist. Good for you, Scott Smith. Good for you. No, he had he that's not he's scored before. That was his third or well,
oh, my mistake. If that was
his career stats say he has two 1 point goals and one 2 point goal. So
oh, that's right. He did have two. So this is his first one.
well, he has two ones.
Oh, all
So
right.
he
Let's quit while we're behind.
yeah.
All right, so next
Yeah.
week we're off, and then the following week, Cannons play 6 p.m. Eastern time against New York. Um, both teams are one
In
and
New
three
York.
in New York, so let's get that win.
Yeah.
Um,
Spoil their homecoming.
we need
Indeed.
it and we want it. Um, we will announce any sort of chance of a watch party if we are able to do one of those. So stay tuned for that. Um,
Hopefully we'll have
yeah,
some interviews lined up as well.
yes.
Try to get people in the bye week.
Hmm.
At the very least, we'll be back next week to preview the matchup with the um, desperate New York Atlas and the equally desperate Boston Cannons.
Oof.
Uh, but until then, go Cannons, go Guard.
Go Cannons, go guard.
Go Cannons, go Guard.
Boom.
Boo!
Boom.